I want to share a story today about a time where unhoused folks actually told me my future, and I think this is a great lesson in being receptive to everything. Oh my god. This is crazy hair. And knowing that everything holds information, we live in a plasma consciousness form that is always sharing information between each other. That's why we're so connected. And this story is a pretty good example of that. So at the time I was dating this guy who was going to do a Navy ASVAB test, and it was downtown, and so I decided to go with him so I could see him afterwards. While I was waiting for him, I decided to go to a Starbucks where there were 3 single tables all lined up, one after another, and then there would be 2 chairs facing each other. So 3 tables, 2 chairs each. There was one unhoused person sitting in the front one, another one sitting in the same seat but at the second table, and so I was like, let me just be the third person at this third table. And at the time, they were both just kind of yelling different things into the air. At the time, I was living in Sacramento, so I was like, whatever, I don't care. And I was just kind of listening to them, honestly, because I thought it was kind of interesting. And then all of a sudden, the man started yelling about God. And as soon as he started talking about God, I was like, you know what, let me pay attention just a little bit deeper. I feel like maybe he has something interesting to say. And as soon as I started listening, he starts going, oh, oh, oh. Navy, 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 and then starts saying a whole bunch of numbers. So I had a notebook at the time, so I wrote down Navy, which was the test that my boyfriend at the time was taking, and I wrote down all of these numbers, and he started repeating the numbers 80, 88, 80, 88, 88, 88, 88. This one's stuck. And when he said 80, 88, I just had a feeling that I need to write those numbers down. So I wrote down 80, and I wrote down 88, and I circled 88. So after that, I met up with my ex at the time. He said, guess what score I got in my ASVAB test? And I said, wasn't an 88? And he said, how did you know that? And I showed him my notebook, and I showed him where I circled it, and I said, the unhoused people at Starbucks told me, actually. And it started this whole conversation just about how tapped in we all are, especially when you're maybe a little bit out of your mind. And so it really speaks to it getting in other forms of out of your mind, meditation, hypnosis, all of these things. Oh my God, look at this. This is bad. And to me, this just proves that if you get out of your mind, whether it's through meditation or maybe other things, that we are more connected and have more information than we can even believe. But on another note, look at my freaking hair.
Yeah.
I don't know about this. Yikes.